Hi guys, how are you? We're live on my bedroom floor and, well, the studio floor, one and the same. And we are looking at a bunch of stuff that I want to show you guys, and I'll wait for some folks to come on. I've got fruit that is coming out of the dehydrator to show you. I've got fruit that's going in the dehydrator to show you. I'm going to be showing you, hey Jenna! Hi King Gus Music, how are you? Welcome. So we have things that we're going to be putting in the dehydrator. Suzuki, Maddie, hey everybody. And I've just got a bunch of things to show you guys. So, Bomb Diggity Dina, hey, you just changed your name. I like it. Justin, Jackie, Laura Cranius, hi, howdy. Moss the Boss, hi. Jennifer 94, love your name. Hi, I've fallen in love with your videos. Thank you! I'm very proud of them. I really am. Tangerine's here. Freshwater Fairy is here. Erica's here. Yay! Call you Pat? Okay, I'll try to remember that. Purple L is Pat. Pat the Purple L. Got it. Okay, so I have stuff to show you guys that's going in the dehydrator. And then I have stuff to show you guys that's coming out of the dehydrator. And of course, if you have questions on how you could use that in witchcraft, ask away. If I don't know them in my head, we'll look them up. Yes, welcome Pat, welcome, welcome. And welcome everybody. Trying to get the lighting to be good. Feels a bit shiny. Okay, so I want to tell a quick story about the vest that's on this chair. As you guys know, I'm having my last week at work this week, and tomorrow's my very last day. And last week, and I've just been meaning to tell you guys this story, there's this, basically the place I've worked there for 20 years off and on. I started in 1998 when I was 16 years old, waitressing at this Japanese restaurant, and I took like an 8-year break when I was doing massage, and then when I had hard times, I went back there and they said, welcome. So anyway, one of the regular customers there that I've literally known for 20 years, since I was 16 years old, he came in and he was wearing this beautiful vest, okay? And I'm the type of person that I'll wear either male or female clothes, and if it's a male item, I just put it with a gorgeous dress or something so that it really blends that masculine and feminine, because I embrace both of those sides of myself, absolutely, 100%. I feel like I have a lot of masculinity to me, and that's good, because I also have a lot of femininity to me. So it creates a good balance, right? So I want to talk about this vest. Now, Bob, if you ever see this video, I absolutely love you. I said, dude, I just love that vest. It reminds me of my granddad's. Let me put it on and show it to you guys. And I said, it reminds me of my granddad's. And he literally took the shirt off his back and gave it to me. Like, that's totally something I would do. If somebody was like, oh my gosh, I absolutely adore that, I would literally, like, I've done it with rings before when people fall in love with my rings and stuff. So yeah, it's a little big on me, but it's not terribly big, and when I get to the size I want to be, which is bigger than this, it'll be nice and, like, better. But let me stand up and show it to you guys. Earthy Taurus, hi! So, as you can see, it's a little bigger than I am, but it actually looks really giant from below. But the point is that this is an amazing magical gift to me. Somebody literally gave me the coat off of their back. So, and it was a dear, dear friend, and I'm never going to forget it. And I just want to hold this vest up to you guys and show you that, A, it's vintage and old and awesome. It's Ken's leather. And it's just got all this beautiful, like, it's a reddish brown leather, and it's just got all this beautiful patchwork and texture to it, and I absolutely adore it, you know. And I'm the taxidermy witch, so it's leather, and I adore that too. But the whole thing is that, like, somebody, because they appreciated and adored me so much, they just gave me the shirt off their back, and that says a million things. The woman next to him was like, oh my gosh, and he goes, I've known her for 20 years. I want her to have a part of me. Hi, Shauna! And I just thought that, like, he taught the people around him so many beautiful lessons. Like, I mean, what do you guys think? Like, how do you feel about that situation? If you were sitting next to somebody that did that, how would you feel? But to me, it just, like, lit up my night, lit up my week, because it's a magical thing to do that. So there's that. I just wanted to talk about that really quick. And then now we can kind of look at, like, what's in the dehydrator and what I've got going on. I've got the dehydrator stuff in the room. We won't be going out to the kitchen or anything. So let's see here. And I've got lots of stuff to show you that I've gathered from around the house that you could use for magical things that we probably don't think of all of the time. Also, I wanted to show you this black organic hemp and chicken's foot and applewood wand that I made for love workings. And I liked how the applewood kind of looked like a chicken's foot, and then I put that chicken's foot underneath it, and I think it turned out really cool. It's not a huge wand. See, it's fairly small. It's just something that you kind of hold in your hand, but I'll have this up on the Etsy shop, and I've got a little more applewood if anybody wants some. So my hair is beautiful. Thanks. I really liked it today. I really should start doing like dread videos and show you guys how to do different dread stuff. King Goodlord is here. How was my day today? So good. So good. How was yours? Aw, thank you guys. Thank you. Alright, so what's in the dehydrator? What is in the dehydrator? Thank you, Erica. I appreciate it. Alright. Why is my camera like ultra fuzzy today? Let's see if we can polish that up a little bit. No, I have a husband, Brian. It's not for me, it's for the Etsy page. And even if you have a love in your life, you could certainly use it for love workings, like to rekindle a relationship or keep the passion in a relationship. There's lots of things where you could use love stuff if you're married or if you're in a relationship. I actually make a passion revival oil that's for just that very thing. For people who are in loving, committed relationships but want to just keep them strong. You know, Espen's here. Hi, Espen. How are you? Boop. Boop, Dandry. Boop, 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 boop. And also, these make great back scratchers. I'm just saying, like, of course it would probably want to be a little longer, but I make chicken foot back scratchers. And the cats love to be petted with the chicken's feet. I'll show you how I pet Bazinga with the chicken's foot. And I do, because chicken's feet are cleansing, and I do prayers, you know, or chants, or whatever you want to call it, putting words together for protection for her, because I'm really paranoid that my cats are going to go, because I lost one the other day, but she's back. Fine, just in to say hi. Okay, hi, Espen. Yeah, I know it's morning for you, right? So, let's check out what we've got. I don't think I can keep my face in and stuff, but we'll try. Okay, so first let's start with the ugly fruit. Now, I both have one fresh to show you. This is called the ugly fruit. And what it is it tastes like an orange, but it doesn't have the sour to it, so it just is really sweet. And when we dry it, they come out like this. And you can do workings right inside. What do you do with ugly fruit? Why would you do a working with that? Well, yeah, beautiful on the inside, Layla. Now, this is probably not the nicest working, but when I hear names of things, I immediately, and Jenna, who's here in the chat room right now, Jenna and I were just doing this. She sent me a picture of an herb, I looked it up in my books, had no idea what it was, and we figured out together how we could make it into a witchcraft herb, and it was awesome. So Jenna Quinn, who's here, ugly fruit. Do a working inside of these shells. Hi, Barrowboy Woods, how are you? And you can do workings right inside. To, let's say for instance, you were in a competition, like a beauty competition. Not saying that all of us are, but it doesn't have to be like a real beauty contest. It could be getting a job. You know, if you want to beat somebody in getting the job, if two people are going up for the same job, you could use this ugly fruit to make them look ugly in comparison to you. You need a lemon? Here. There you go. So, in comparison to you, that person could look ugly. Or if you were best friends with a girl or friends with a girl and you guys were both going after the same guy and you really thought that he was for you, you could use a working in this ugly fruit so that he saw you as beautiful and her as ugly. I'm just trying to say, I'm not saying that these are the nicest workings, but I'm saying that you could certainly do them. So, again, I dry these and sell these on my Etsy shop. And there's no listing up because I have almost 300 different herbs that I work with on my cabinet and sell on my Etsy. But if you want some, we just talk about it, and we talk about all the things you want, and I make a custom order for you. Kimberkiss is here. Hi, Kimberkiss. Look, this is an ugly fruit. And so, yeah, dry those out, do workings inside of them. You can put a candle in here and let it burn down. You could put other herbs for beauty enhancement for yourself. You could, you know, do all kinds of stuff. What about buckeye? What can it do because you have one? Buckeye? Well, is there more to the name than just buckeye? It's not something that I work with, but it's definitely something I can help you figure it out. However, I usually use my books and the internet and other means, but King Goodlord, I can certainly do some research on buckeye for you, and then on our next live, or on a video of its own, I can do a video about buckeye. But yeah, I certainly will. Is Thomas here? Is Thomas in the house? Thomas Dale? Alright, so next in the dehydrator, I've got something that might be pretty common to you guys, and that is the carambola, or the star fruit. And I've done a whole entire video on those. I think I did that video for Be Young, because she loves carambola, or star fruit. So, star fruit obviously is, none of these are quite good examples. In the shape of a star when you cut it up. This one's missing the bottom piece. But the star is good for creation, it's good for protection. So if you want to add a creative or a protective element into a working, you can add some of that. Jetta Joe, hi! Happy Friday! Welcome! So, yeah, these are some star fruits. Alex cut these ones up, and I don't think he knows that I mean to keep them in complete star shapes. That doesn't mean you can't still put them in a working or an incense blend or something like that. The end bits are so cute. I love the end bits. They look like little starfish. So, there's one with all 5 points. So, beautiful, beautiful fruit. Alright, there's the star fruit. Next, we've got some lime skins from dinner the other night, and just use what you've got, you know. However, I did go to the store and limes were on sale, so I got a bunch of limes. In this video, we're also going to be cutting up this whole entire bowl of fruit and putting it in the dehydrator so I can show you guys my process for that. Because I'm always talking about, like, what's in my dehydrator? And then it goes in the jar and you're like, yeah, but we missed so many steps, so we're going to be going through all of that. Thomas Dale's in the house! Hey, Thomas Dale, can you make a note that I need to do some research on buckeye for King Goodlord? I appreciate it, darling. Can you grow star fruit in a pot? Brian Landon, that's a great question, and we talk about that a lot on this channel. Hey, Alex! I'll have my husband grab the star fruit. We grow so many plants, for those of you who are new to the channel, from seed from the fruit that we buy. Literally, we buy a star fruit or an ugly fruit. My husband's this like intuitive gardener. He just tries things out, and we have so many beautiful plants. I also use the star fruit or the carambola leaves. Right now they're up on my indoor clothesline. And do you see right above my finger those green leaves right up there? Those are star fruit leaves. And I'll be using those in my witchcraft workings as well. Or carambola leaves. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Thomas. I really appreciate it, because I don't have time to watch these lives back, so I super appreciate it. Oh, he sent it to me. So, King Goodlord, the message is sent. We'll be working on that for you, okay? Limes, when they're dehydrated, the skins smell off the hook amazing. We put them in the tea that we made, the joy tea, and it tasted so good. So, anytime you use citrus fruits, and you're going to put them in a tea, you probably want to make sure that those are organic, because there's so much pesticides on the skin, and if they're non-organic, just scrub the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? Not that it's all going to go away, but at least some of it will go away. Because think, you're going to just soak those pesticides right off into your hot tea. I don't like the sound of that. Okay, so lime skins. We've got those, and then we've also got limes to cut up and put in the dehydrator. When I do these, I'm going to show you how to cut them up for oils, and they'd be great for teas in there as well, but we're going to use the fruit as well. We're going to cut them like this, and so they're going to be rings. Joyce Jordan, hi! We're going through the dehydrator. You'll be in the market for a new dehydrator, you guys? Yeah, yours seems to be gone. Intel, do what you can, you know, like top of your fridge, like you were saying, or maybe below the vents that are in the ceiling, hang something down. Lunaya's here, yay! Okay, next from the dehydrator, I've got these. We found these in the store. It's this big giant purple bean, but it makes this beautiful sound, like a rattle, and I really like that. Now, bees and peas have magical abilities. You just look those up in your green Scott Cunningham book. But I do believe exorcism is what I use peas for the most. Exorcism. But I like the rattle. It didn't do that before it was dried. So this is a big purple bean. It's cool. So I've got like 4 of those. This is witch hazel. Okay. I sent some to Maddie. Is there someone named Norm here? Where everybody knows your name. Cheers, right? So yeah, this is witch hazel. And I like to leave it on the branch and send it to people when they order it. And then you can choose whether you want to pluck the flowers off. But I just really like the way that the branch looks. So that's witch hazel. Jennifer Keefe, hi! Okay, so next we've got some beautiful and lovely, I believe it's lilac. It came from Peggy's house. It dried such a beautiful purple. Now, I've learned from Joyce and from some other people, it is a good antiseptic, absolutely, and it's got really cool witchcraft properties as well. I don't know if I did a video on witch hazel yet, but if not, I should. Anything that you see on any of my videos, you just ask me if you can buy it from me, and I'm talking to Earthly Taurus. Anything. I have almost 300 different herbs and things that I use. And there's a bunch of different, just check out my Etsy shop, Juckshy Lady, and if what you see is not there, we just make up an order for you. Most of my orders are custom. So look how beautiful purple that this dried. I mean, it's vibrant and beautiful. I think that this is a type of lilac. But I have to ask my mom. She just sent it home with Alex, and I popped it in the dehydrator. Generally, the lilac I end up getting is a lot lighter than this, so I just want to be sure before I use it, but that's beautiful. It could be crepe myrtle. It could be. Dark Prince Lucy, hi, welcome. We're talking about herbs in the dehydrator and etc., etc. It does look like candy. Okay, next let's go to These little guys that Alex found for me today. Did you guys join Alex on his live stream when he was out in the Beacon Hill community like garden thing? It's so cool. He found all these filberts, aka hazelnuts, aka another seed masquerading as a nut. So hazelnuts are actually seeds. They're in the filbert or filbert category. Yeah, he is adorable. He always is. So these I just dehydrate just because I know that there's some moisture in them because they were it was so vibrant purple, huh, Shadow Witch? So yeah, these are just some hazelnut filberts. Look how they're not a perfect size. That's nature, you know. Did you know that cashews come from a fruit? I did, but I just found that out when I was doing raw foods, you know. That raw foods diet that I was on for 6 months. I didn't know it before that though, Tangerine. So here we've got some crepe myrtle that Mandy, Magical Mandy, Punky Doodle sent me when she sent me that big box of stuff. And it was all wet when she sent it to me. So I dehydrated it, and here it is. It's a big bunch of leaves. You learned it from a funny YouTube song? That's funny, Tangerine. Okay, next I've got kumquats, and I have done a video on kumquats. They appear in a few of Scott Cunningham's books. Kumquats dry, well, when they're normal, they look about like this. This one's not fully dry. And then at the end, when they're dry, they look like this. You know, they just turn into nothing. Now, if you just leave these in your pocket and forget about them and never wear that pair of pants for 6 months and then pull them out because you were eating fruit that day, they're dried in the pocket. You technically don't need a dehydrator for these. But Joyce, like I talked about before, if things start to rot in your area, especially citrus fruits, that's how you can tell the energy is bad. If citrus fruit stays really good in the area for a really long time, then you know the energy is good in the area. I think that's interesting. But these ones that are big will have to go back into the dehydrator because, see, there's squish to them. And that means there's still water in there. These, there's nothing. They're completely dehydrated. So kumquats, these little teeny tiny oranges, and when you eat them, you eat the peel and everything. The whole thing you eat. Yes, Juckshire Farms. Thank you, Lunaya. I really appreciate that. Alex, we were talking about your venture out today. Oh, look at this beautiful meal. Guys, check this out. German cucumber salad and a little tartar sauce and mahi-mahi. And
that's actually a sauce for yours. For that.
For the fish, right?
Oh,
it's artichoke sauce. And here's my artichoke. Isn't that nice? You guys, if you need thistle parts or thistle for a recipe, I dehydrate artichokes as well. But this one, obviously, I'm not gonna. However, you guys, when you were done eating these leaves like this, and you get the bit of the artichoke that's good, pop this into the dehydrator. Seriously, why would you throw it away? Loads of magical uses for the artichoke in Scott Cunningham's books. So that's going to be something that I throw in the dehydrator. Artichokes are amazing. I use artichokes as thistle in my spirit calling incense because when you burn thistle, and remember in the inside of the artichoke, if you've opened one up, you know that they're sharp. There's thistles in there and they're purple. Purple's the color of alchemy. So I think that they fit really well. So I put them into my spirit calling incense that I burn at the graveyard when I try and talk to my grandparents and stuff. So anyway, I don't like to dip these in anything but a little bit of lemon, but I'm just eating them right now and they're great. Hey, you want to come in and say hi? Sure. Lily wants to say hi, you guys. Did you get your dinner? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you have an artichoke yet? Not yet. So when you know how to eat them, right? No. Oh, you just pull off a leaf, and then the meats of the fruits in the bottom, and then the leaf's just a leaf. You just go like this. Oh. And that comes off. And then when you're done with the leaves, save them for me. Okay. Because I'm going to dehydrate them. What are you up to? Watching Jeopardy?
And eating.
She's been watching Jeopardy. Look at my new dollies. Lily's home for the weekend. Yum. You want one?
Sure.
Oh, this is a good one. There's lots in there.
Ooh,
It's red. Okay. So dinner will be later. Good? What does it taste like to you?
hold on. Like unflavored squash.
Unflavored squash. That's a pretty good description. It has a good taste. It doesn't feel like it needs a ton. But yeah, it is a little bland. Unflavored squash. That's a good description.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay. So, when you're done picking this apart, dehydrate those petals because you can certainly use those. Lily's 12. She's 13 in November. Ha! She's a mini-me. Totally. Jeopardy is a great show, and we both get so excited when we get one right. We're like, high five. Such a cool show. Lily, Thomas said it's nice to meet you. Good, I'm glad I'm making you want artichokes. Pat? I remembered, Pat. Okay, so let's go into here. I've got some avocado peel. And it's cool because it actually kind of looks like something when you take it off and dry it. To me, that looks like a person with a hat on sideways. Here's his nose and mouth. And he's got like a backpack on. And here's his hand and his foot. And I don't know. You can scry with anything. Why couldn't you scry with things you take out of your dehydrator? You love Jeopardy, Joyce. Me too. Thomas, so are you a Scorpio, Thomas? If your birthday's in November? Lily is. It looks like a gargoyle. Oh, yeah, these look like wings. Tangerine, it does look like a gargoyle. You're totally right. Nice one. An angel with a wing. Totally. So, that's really fun, you guys. Why couldn't you do some scrying with what comes out of your dehydrator? Tangerine, you can scry with anything, right? We know that. We can do divination or scrying with anything. Okay, so next, I've got something that I've talked a few times about, but you probably all have not heard it. I dehydrate grapes on the vine for gossip removal workings. Okay? Gossip removal workings. And as you're doing the working, you pluck from the vine. And here's why I say it. The grapevine, since way before the California Raisin song, I heard it through the grapevine, has been this word for gossip or information, secret information or something. A lot of us have problems with trolls and bullying and stuff like that. People talking about us, and especially if we're on YouTube, there's gossip, you know? So why not get some of these grapes dried on the vine and do some gossip removal workings, okay? So, and yes, I've built up a spell for that and a working for that, and if you guys are interested, I could certainly try and do a video on it, because picking grapes, people would catch up on things. Oh, you're welcome, Shauna. What are you thanking me for? So yes, and when you dry grapes on the vine, I need to tell you this. And dry grapes either way, they do not turn into raisins. They turn into hard grapes. So I don't even know how people make raisins. Maybe they keep in the dehydrator till they're just barely wrinkly, but these are not raisins. They're hard dehydrated grapes. So I like to use this for gossip removal workings, and then there's a whole slew of things in Cunningham's book that grapevine and grapes are good for. So those are in the dehydrator, and I have loads of those all the time because we have sugar gliders. How many hours does it take to dehydrate? Brian, excuse me, I keep my dehydrator on all the time, but these ones generally take like 4 days, 4 full days. Before they're to my liking, because if they have any bit of hydration in them and you put them in a jar, they will mold. So I just keep them in the dehydrator till they are dehydrated. And the thing is that I have a dehydrator that has a temperature gauge on it, which means that I can keep it technically raw. A raw food isn't cooked above 110 degrees, Okay, so your dehydrator that goes up to 155 technically cooks things. So unless it has a temperature gauge, generally they're between 130 and 155. So if you're into raw foods, why would that matter? Because when it's cooked, just like if you boil broccoli too long, all the nutrients leave. So in magic, we want all of those nutrients there for magical abilities. Hi, Maddie! Maddie got some of these grapes for gossip removal workings in his bag that I gave him. Alright, so grapes on the grapevine. Those are in there for sure because we have a sugar glider, and when grapes start to get not so good, we used to put them in the compost, but now I've been doing this. You did? You love them? Awesome! I'm so happy. Okay, so also in the dehydrator, we've got 2 kinds of ivy. One kind is from my Bastet offering area where I bury her offerings and I leave things to her out in nature. And these are from there. When they look like lightning. Where my other ivy is just green. Where's the other ivy? Here's one ivy. Nope. See, these are like, it looks like lightning to me. So that's what I'm going to use it for, is shock and unexpectedness. And so, because this reminds me of lightning. Now, we're obviously going to use it for all the other things that ivy reminds us of. But when I got those 2 different types and one was so vibrant, I said, you know, to me this looks like this. That's how it resonates with me. That's what I'm going to use it for, on top of all the magical things that Scott Cunningham says in his books. Oh, Maddie, I know you guys have been so sick. I'm so sorry. That's not fun at all. It takes 6 weeks, but I do have on my channel a recipe, a magical recipe for a tincture made with 3 things: Bragg's apple cider vinegar, elderberries, and echinacea. And it's a Lady Grave Dancer recipe. Cherry Chapstick's here! You didn't get a notification? I'm sorry. Wiley Kylie's here. Hi, everybody! So, this is just more of the star fruit that's kind of in there. Carambola fruit, star fruit. And here's another avocado slice. Right? Avocado, oh, there we go. That looks like 2 people talking or kissing or something. Very interesting. Or someone getting strangled. Cute little stars. Yeah. So, avocado is fantastic for fertility workings. It's got 1 big seed on the inside, so that makes me think it's very abundant because the seed is so big. But in Scotty's books, he's got definitely an angel. In Scotty's books, he's definitely got information on avocados. On the skin, on the fruit, on the pit, like all of it. In that green book, Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. Okay. More avocado peel. This one kind of looks like a heart, so that might be perfect for your love working. What is the rarest herb or flower to find? Like, tangerine, do you mean in the wild, or do you mean at all? Because I would say mandrake is the hardest thing to get your hands on. Not mayapple, not American mandrake, European mandrake in the whole form. And I don't tell, well, yeah, for magic use, I would say European mandrake is the hardest to get your hands on, especially if it's 1 full root that everybody desires. Those take 5 to 7 years to grow 1 full root. And the European mandrake that I have is a bunch of mini roots that they just hacked before it was fully grown, right? Because when they fully grow into a root, they can be huge. And when you buy them, they're like on auction $100 to $200 to $400 a piece for 1 big root. Now this is the thing that you're supposed to take and put on your mantle. Okay, I don't have $300 to have on to do that with yet, but at some point in my life I want to. We're going to try and grow them once we get to Texas. But listen, there's just so much to it. And they don't really even survive, I guess. So we're going to definitely be trying to do that. We're trying to grow henbane right now. We're going to try and grow belladonna. We're going to try and grow all these deadly nightshades, you know. Okay, what else is in here? Just some little peels from avocado. Here's a little avocado pooper. What's that look like, Tangerine? Oh, that's the same one we did. It's the same one. Okay, so next here, I've got some red onion peel. Okay. It looks purple to me, but we call it red onion, so you could use it for red in color magic. Oh, Maddie, you're 14? That's awesome. My daughter's almost 13. Well, she's a year and a half away from you. I love young people that do magic. I think that's so special and so cool. And I'm slowly trying to work Lily into it if she wants to, you know. If she wants to. If it doesn't feel like it's for her, I'm not going to push. I would never do that. Would never push religion on my child because it was pushed on me. And I'm not unhappy about that, but it's like I would have rather had it a different way. I don't believe in baptisms before children are born. I think you should be able to choose. Mandrake is poisonous. Absolutely, Brian. It is. It's a deadly nightshade. Datura is in the nightshade family. And there are seeds in the pods and that you're sending me? That's amazing, Joyce. Alex will try and grow them. That's so sweet of you to send us stuff. Your daughter's so cute. She reminds me of your little brother. Because she's quiet and just kind of like timid. Anytime anyone mentions Mandrake, I think of Harry Potter. I always think of Pan's Labyrinth, because in Pan's Labyrinth, it's a Mexican cinema, well, it's all in Spanish, but I believe it's Mexican cinema, and it's the most brilliant movie. But that's where the Pale Man came from the Tool video 46 and 2. In that movie, they tell the whole correct legend of Mandrake, and they actually act it out. Put it under your bed, feed it a little water and milk, and it will cure your mom, and she won't die. And so the kid crawls down there and feeds it a little milk and cuts her finger, and her mom's like living, and it's just got so many stories attached to it. You guys can buy it on Amazon Prime Video. That's where I got it. But Pan's Labyrinth, it's so cool. There's subtitles, of course. It's Spanish, not Mexican. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. I like my hair too. And it stayed all day. Brian, thank you for the correction. I really appreciate that. So here we've got the red onion, right? Now yesterday I talked about onion skins. And I don't know how many of you were here for that, but I'm going to talk about it real quickly again. I did! Yeah, I bleached my hair the day before yesterday. So yeah, it's looking fresh. It's looking good. I feel good. I'm a real procrastinator, so the roots were so bad. But yeah, I did touch it up. Oh, Maddie's a hairstylist. Are you going to tell me how bad it is and that I need toner? Because I know that that's true. Del Toro is Mexican, but the film is set in Spain during the Civil War. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that, because I never want to say the wrong thing and offend somebody, or, you know, it's kind of political correctness gone mad, but I'm timid to say things that might hurt people's feelings or something. I don't know. Yay, Thomas in our house, Encyclopedia Man. Exactly. Thomas is always a lovely person to have in your live feeds. He'll help. He'll help his friends. So, you could use this red onion for red in color magic, or if all you see from this is purple and not red, certainly use it as purple in color magic. But the fact that it's called a red onion means you could do both. Everybody does need a Thomas. A Badger. A Mr. Badger. So, onion skins. For the longest time, whenever I cooked onions in the kitchen, I would just peel off the skins, throw them on the ground, and sweep them up later. No wonder I've always been so poor and without money. When you drop your onion skins on the floor, you are throwing out your prosperity. Okay? And your abundance and prosperity. When you pick up onion skins that are other people's that they've dropped, you pick up their prosperity and their abundance. Okay? So when I go to the store, I buy one onion, and then I take all and then I take all the skins that people, because have you ever seen people when they buy onions? They push off all the skins like the weight's going to make a difference. And I feel like telling them, like, oh my god, you're throwing your prosperity away. But instead, I just go pick up all the onion skins. And then I have a bag, like a grocery bag that has one onion and completely full of skins. And then the lady always asks me, like, did you take skin off onions? I go, no, I just took the onion skins that were there because I use them for stuff. Tangerine, note to self, follow rich person around till they drop an onion skin. Precisely. So that's just one thing that I do to try and bring more prosperity my way. And I believe I learned that from Scott Cunningham. Probably from the green book, but there we go. Some red onions. Shadow Witch, you just burned some onion skins today for prosperity. Tell me how they smelled. Did it make the whole place smell like a fried onion burger joint? Because they're so... Night, Jetta! Night-night! They're so potent magically, and they work so well, in my opinion, in money incenses and when they're just burned alone. But they smell bad. Like, they smell like a frying onion skin. So anyway, around here we have this place called Crazy Eric's. I'm always like, Crazy Eric's Burger! Alright, so there's the red or purple onion. Now, those onion skins, technically you don't have to dehydrate them and dry them out, but the skin is also attached to some of the fruit when you pull all the skin off, so I did need to dry out that fruit. Lenoya, do you have to go? Night-night, darling. Okay, so down here... Oh, right. I'm like, what is this? These are radish leaves. Okay? You know, red radish with the white on the inside. Now, radish leaves are edible. I like to put them into salads. Oh, okay. Thanks, Lenoya. I like to put them into salads when they're fresh, or a stir fry. But I didn't want to dehydrate my radishes, so I did the radish leaves. Makes sense being used in prosperity spell, considering your health is your greatest wealth. Totally, totally. And I like that. Your health is your greatest wealth. Absolutely. That's a beautiful thing to say. Did Shadow Witch say that? No, Roseanne said that. That was awesome, Roseanne. Okay, so once I get these off here, I'm cleaning off the racks because we're going to cut up this bowl of fruit and put it in the dehydrator. So that's why I'm cleaning off the racks. Love my earrings? They're cat ribs. They're cat ribs, 3 on each side. And they were custom made for me by Art by Wolves on Etsy. Art by Wolves. She also made me a moonstone and coyote rib necklace. Oh, I'm weird. I like want everything to be customized, so I just like picked out some of her jewelry and I said, "Hey, could you make this like this?" And she's like, "Yep." She didn't even have cat rib earrings. She had the coyote ribs, and I asked if she had cat ribs, and she's like, "Yep." What? And Otis will not stay away from these. He always tries to steal them and eat them, so I have to keep them locked up. Isn't that funny? That'd be like me smelling out a human bone and then licking it. But I mean, I'm not a cat, but still. Okay. When you guys have your dehydrators and they stop working, don't throw these racks away. So Joyce, if you're still here, your dehydrator pooped out. Okay, but don't throw these racks away because you need a dehydrator that these can fit on. And even if they don't fit perfectly, it's still going to dehydrate, right? So as long as the plastic isn't touching the element below, it won't melt or burn. Okay, Maddie, take care of yourself and get some echinacea elderberries and Bragg's apple cider vinegar. And I'll link to you and Skype that video that I do up for that cold and flu. And if you take a little bit every day, it should be a preventative throughout the year for a cold. Usually for the winters, but you didn't poop out. That's okay. Alright, so next we've got some beautiful blood oranges here that I use for oils and such, and we'll be cutting up some of those. When they are fresh, they look like this. Kind of orange, but then with this really dark red splotchiness to them. They're gorgeous. Like a red. Beautiful. And then when they're dried, I cut these pretty thick. they look like this, and they're, look, hello, there's my eye. Oh, oh, look, a mask. That's fun. Sorry. Oh, who would steal from a witch? I'm always saying that. Who would steal from a witch? Oh, you got echinacea elderberry today? All you need is Bragg's organic raw apple cider vinegar. Just put that in there, a glass jar with some wax paper over the top and then the lid, and let it sit for 6 months, but shake it twice a day and keep it in the window in the moonlight if you can, or, you know. So I've got a bunch of these dried blood oranges in here. These, again, they smell fantastic smell. I know, right? And they're great for oils and teas. So good. We put one in the tea yesterday, and it brought this sweetness to it that I can't really explain. Oh, God. Someone tried to steal my triangle purse, and it's obviously a witch's purse. Like, who, you know. And it was around my arm, so when he tried to take it, it, like, pulled me back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who would take a witch's purse? And he looked at me and he was like, but I was on one that day and I was just like, that was it. Yeah, I loathe thieves as well. Loathe. So, blood oranges. Blood orange sandwich. It's a little chewy. Here's some more blood oranges. They just, the color, they just dry so beautifully. And then I love the end bits because it just looks like a peacocky rainbow type thing. It's very beautiful. Thieves and liars. I love blood oranges too, tangerine. So again, if you guys don't want to add blood to a working, like whether you want to put blood in the working or it calls for blood or whatever. Shauna said hi, Alex. Shauna. Shauna Horny. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but it's pretty. What was I going to say about? Oh, right. So if you don't want to use blood in a recipe, hi, Bazinga. You could use blood oranges. You could use blood root. You could use blood wort. There's all these different herbs with the word blood in it. You could use those. Absolutely, you could. 23KC. Hi, how are you? Blood oranges are better than tangerines, but you didn't hear that from me. I missed his haircut. Do you have Alex? Hey, Alex! Yeah? Can you come here? What? Can you come here real quick? He's coming, Shauna. Oh, and Roseanne.
What's up?
Shauna wanted to say hi, and Roseanne wanted to see your haircut. Turn to the side. See, didn't that look nice? He doesn't have it styled right now, but it looks really good.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm gonna go eat dinner. Thanks.
He's eating dinners. Alright, so next we've got a little bit more blood orange there. More kumquats. And these ones are all dry except for this one because it's got a little push to it. So that one's not done. It's got to go back in. In citrus, if there's any push to it, put it back in. There's no push to this one at all. It's rock hard, but it looks like there could be, but there's not. So, kumquats. I did a video up on them. They're awesome. And I keep them in this little tiny jar. This little tiny jar that's too small to put anything in. Oh, by the way, you guys, I'm totally going to start eating baby food because I want the jars. Look at how cute this tiny jar is. It's smaller than a baby food jar, but I'm just saying I'm going to start getting baby food because I love the taste of baby sweet potato, and you can also make super yummy potato cakes out of regular potato that you rice, and then sweet potato, and then fry it, the baby sweet potato food, or baby applesauce. Like, sometimes you can get them for $3 for $1, and they're glass jars, and they're so small. But, you know, I have so many jars that are this big with only this much stuff in it, it's just taking up so much space. Ooh, great in smoothies too. Yeah, so I'm just going to try and get a case of baby food because I went on eBay to go get vintage Gerber jars or just Gerber jars, and it didn't matter if they were old or new. Like shipping costs a lot because they're heavy, and then also what was the other thing? What was the other reason why? Yeah, they ended up being 75 cents a jar, so I figured I might as well pay to have the food inside. Oh my god, Luna, me, and hubby would kill over sons when he was a baby. Right? So now my little jar of kumquats is full, which is awesome. Happy about that. What's in the dehydrator? We've got one more tray, you guys, and it's too bad Maddie left because his order is in here. Too bad. Oh, also, I want to show you guys this. This is some homework of my husband's. Okay, some math homework that he was having a really hard time on. A very big struggle. Just pages and pages of, math homework. I'm going to use this. I'm going to keep it for future workings because when my husband has a struggle in the future, I can use this paper because it's got his handwriting on it. It's got his energy in it. So much time went into this work and so much frustration went into this work because he had a really hard time. That you could certainly use this in your witchcraft workings. So here's another thing that you can do that's way out of the box. There you go. I wanted to show you that. So next, we've got the second tray of dehydrator stuff. Come on. Okay, so Maddie ordered from me, and I'm talking about Conjurer's Table Maddie. He ordered from me mango roses because I sent him some for free when he ordered a gift, and I always send freebie herbs from like my dehydrator or from my cabinet or that I foraged. And he ordered some of these little mango roses that I make, and I ended up drying him the skins as well because they look so beautiful, the skins. They're green and red. These are Kent mangoes. Shadow Witch, absolutely. You're welcome, hun. A naturist? A naturist? Yeah. So these are actually edible, the orange ones, because they're just mango that's been dehydrated, and they taste like chewy candy. It's so good. I don't know what he's going to use them for, but I told him that they're edible. And I've enchanted these for Maddie. I took the mangoes themselves out in that new moon that we just had, and enchanted them just for him. This is 4 mangoes that I've made into mango roses for Maddie. So anyway, I'm also going to be giving him this gold rose candle flower to go with it just because I have so many of them, and I just think it will go lovely with his order. So anyway, Maddie, this is for you. So I'll be packing those up tonight and getting them out to him very, very soon. Thank you! They are beautiful. I was proud of them. This is probably the coolest thing I've ever put in my dehydrator. It's fully dehydrated. I don't want to push too hard on it because I don't want to break it. But it's this teeniest, tiniest pineapple. And it's done. That's why I'm finally showing it to you guys again. I've showed it to you a couple times in the dehydrator. But a whole entire pineapple, it's done. I cannot wait to do a working with this. Very excited about it. We just found this small pineapple. It was probably this big before we dehydrated it, and it fit in the top of the dehydrator, so there you go. Okay, this is a kiwi fruit skin that you can do a working in. There's magical uses for kiwi fruit. So there's a kiwi skin. It didn't break. It didn't broke! Here, this is super fun. We've got yellow dragon fruit. Okay, so you could use these for draconic magic. You could use them for yellow in color magic. Dragon fruit. Have you guys had a dragon fruit before? So we cut them in half, eat the fruit out, and then dry them so you can do workings right inside. You can even take your candle. Come on, little sucker. You can even put this flat on the desk. Find what color candle you want for your candle magic out of your rainbow of colors. Melt some wax into this so that this will stick straight up. And have herbs around it for whatever intention you're working on. And do the working right inside of that. And every time I have these fruits that are dried in the half, you know, that's what I'm saying, you know. You don't have to do the candle. You can just set, like, the herbs in there and leave it out, you know. Dragon fruit is so yummy. It's so nutritious. So, yeah. And red dragon fruit with red skin, you can make into magical ink. And I did that on my channel, too. So, anyway, cool stuff there. What else do I have to show you? This is a passion fruit that Alex cut just the mouth of it open so it looks like an actual, like, monster mouth. And see, the back's all intact, and then you put your herbal workings in there. You could put a candle in there, however you want to do it. But there you go. Hey, Candy, I left your check. Oh. Alright, so now we've got, ooh, this is interesting and unique. You would use what in fertility work? The dragon fruit? Or the pineapple? Pineapple is good for chastity. And when you think of it, it totally makes sense. Because chastity is, you know, keeping your... You know what chastity is. But look at the outside of the pineapple. It's spiky, it's sharp, it's keeping things away, it's keeping things out. So it makes a lot of interesting thoughts on chastity. Oh, the dragon fruit. Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of flowers that look like the female anatomy, like irises and, you know, so you're thinking on the right track. You can definitely use these things for whatever it resonates with you. And I know that you weren't being funny, and I'm agreeing with you. Like, you can totally do that. There's a lot of flowers and fruits and stuff that does look like the female anatomy. Okay, so we've got some more dried kiwi here. This one didn't turn out in exactly the way we wanted. That's okay. You just make it work, you know. And then more grapes dried on the vine for gossip removal workings. Or grape in magic. Oh yeah, Roseanne, I like it too. His hair lady does a pretty good job, I'd say. Pretty good. This is a whole pile of that other kind of ivy, not the lightning ivy. This ivy was growing out of my compost pile. Now, if something is growing somewhere, you can actually, of course, you could use that. This grew from nothing. It grew from garbage. You know, compost, waste. This grew from waste. Somehow. And what I'm trying to say is if you feel like you're in a spot that's complete waste, and you want to grow out of it and grow from it and get out, use this because of where it came from. You can also use ivy for all the things in magic that it's good for. Protection, right? Binding, because ivy binds onto things, so you could do a binding working. That's one of my favorite things to do with ivy. Tangerine, are you doing another deal? Yeah, I'm so excited about Tangerine's Book of Shadows. Here's another avocado peel. Great for fertility workings. Do any of you guys know the Holly Witch? If you do, just give me a thumbs up, because I wanted to. If you guys didn't know her news, I would gonna share it. Working on yours too, yeah. This is the top of a pomelo, which is really a lot like a grapefruit. They're just so cool, you know. You could do a working right on top of this. You could use it for yellow and color magic. You could use it for, since you can't find pomelo in Scotty's book, you could go with grapefruit because that's the next closest fruit to it. Hollywood, don't think so. Okay. Yeah, she's got some good news. These are the ends of romaine lettuce, the like base. Now, you could use these because this is where the roots were. You could use it for grounding workings, or you could use it for all the properties that lettuce have, because lettuce has a lot of properties too in Scotty's Book of Magical Herbs. So there's just some butts of some iceberg lettuce. That was the first time I've done up those. They turned out nice. They look pretty. They just look like kind of flowers in a way. So those are there. And then we've got some Alfonso mango skins that I twisted up. It's so hard to find the fruits that you have over on the west coast. Really? Well, because I'm headed kind of middle, but East Texas, so I hope not. But do you guys have international markets or Asian markets? Can you Google... Janice, hi! Can you Google your nearest international or Asian market to you? Because that's where you're going to find a lot of these things, probably, on the east. So these are Alfonso mango skins that we've just rolled up into, like, cannoli type shapes. And more carambola fruit here. These were cut by me. They're in star shapes. And then here, this smells so good, you guys. The green stuff is cilantro, or coriander if you're in the UK. Cilantro stems. And it smells just as good as the cilantro. It smells really good. So cilantro's got magical properties. Basically all the foods that we eat, grab that red book. Scotty's red book and Scotty's green book. When you do dehydrating stuff, that's your go-tos if you want to dehydrate like the way I do. Look at this star fruit. It turned out so good. It's all curly on the edges. Eek. Sometimes I put these in like witches' ladders or window hangings and stuff, but they're very cool. So I do believe those are up on the Etsy site, but if they're not, again, if anything you want, just, I've got so much to share and sell and give away. Joyce just recorded both of the... Yes, I got your message. You got both of those books. And yours had disappeared? You've got a thief in your reins, my love. What's going on with that? Look at all these witches' burrs or gumballs, and I kept them on the vine because I think that's cool. So some of them are big, some of them are small. And remember, inside there's a bunch of seeds. And that is what the spiky... These are great for protection. Mojo bags, putting in your room for protection, putting in a dream pillow if you're having nightmares. So many different things. But these are, you know, just on the vine, those burrs. Now, I just recently learned that if you do homeopathic dental care, okay, remember you guys, the dentist is really important and it's nothing to play around with. If you have bad dental issues, it can lead to death. It can cause an infection and go to your heart. So it's not, you do not play around with dental, but using it as a homeopathic remedy for pain, for, you know, inflammation, etc. The bark from these trees is amazing for the pain in any dental area. Also, cloves are really amazing for pain, but the bark from the tree is actually also good for treating inflammation and infections in the mouth. Medicinally, right? But magically, protection, chastity, you know, there's more to it than that, but those are the two that I've got on my head. Yeah, cloves. Aiden, the dentist, runs and hides. I'm terrified of the dentist. I haven't been in 12 years, and like I say, I have my own dental routine that I do, and my teeth are nowhere near perfect, you know, obviously. But it's just what I'm comfortable with. But I want to say very strongly, you guys don't play around with that. You can die from not taking care of your teeth. Alright, next we've got, oh, and this is kind of fun. These are strawberry leaves from the tops of the strawberries. Okay, and you can certainly use those for all the things that strawberries would have, you know, use those qualities. This is just some little bits of lettuce that I wanted to test out to see how it would dry its romaine. Better than my teeth. I hope to only go to the dentist 2 more times ever. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go again. Mine will probably be an emergency dental. Here's some cherimoya fruit. This one turned out pretty dark because this dehydrator does not have a temperature gauge. I repeat, this new dehydrator of mine does not have a temperature gauge. So look at the difference. And I'm going to show this to you now, and Joyce is here, so I really want to show Joyce this especially. What? Don't break! So I want to use cherimoya fruit for my snake calling kits. And I'm doing this kit where you can either repel snakes or call them or, you know, enrage them. And so the skins look like snake skin. You know, they look like reptilian skin. And they're green and they've got these like... When the fruit is fresh, it looks really reptilian. But look at the color of 110 degrees compared to 155 degrees. It cooked it. Do you see? So all the color, you know, can leave the fruit and it just turns black. So I just wanted to show that for those of you who, you know, and then this Nesco dehydrator that I have with the white, it does have that temperature gauge and it does go up to 155. You need a snake attractor? Yeah, I made a really cool snake calling kit on my Etsy page and I believe that's still up. But anyway, this cherimoya fruit, really, really cool. Of course, I didn't find it in any book, but when you look at the skin, it just looks like a reptilian. So I thought, or a snake, a reptile, not a reptilian, a reptile. Sorry. I go over a lot of topics, so. Then here we've got some dried passion fruit. This is a really good example of how brainy the inside looks. It's got all this texture and color and it really does look like a brain on the inside. Lungwort, that's really good for the lungs medicinally, looks like a lung. So maybe this is good for the brain. I'm just saying medicinally. Cherry chapstick. I'm from Texas. What part of Texas? Going to Texas, you'll need snake repellent. Awesome. And yeah, that's right, Joyce, you're in Oklahoma. That's where my nan's from. Here's that other passion fruit. I don't know how well you can see it. This is so textured and so interesting on the inside. And still stays pretty purple. Do workings inside of there. Here's another cherimoya fruit that was dehydrated at, you know, 155. So 155, 110. Keeps the color. This looks like a heart. Maybe you want to attract a snake because you think of a person in your life as a snake and you want to attract them toward you so that you can speak to them, or, you know, it might not be really drawing snakes, or it could be. More passion fruits. Those are on my Etsy page. I always have those up. Passion fruits. Passion fruits don't come up in Scott Cunningham's green book, but they do come up in his red book. A whole shallot. Some more of those mango tubes. And the strawberries and more grapes and a little tiny piece of mango skin. That's about it for what's in the dehydrator. What's this? Ivy. That's it, y'all. That's what I had in my dehydrator. Pretty sweet, huh? You've got a snake skin from last year? That's awesome. I have do you mean snake sheds or snake skin? Do you have the actual skin or the shedded skin? I get my snake sheds from somebody I know on eBay. And I talk to them a lot about where they get their snake sheds and, you know. Where are my snake sheds? I redid my herb cabinet, and now I don't know where anything truly lives. But anyway, snake sheds are great for lots of things. Invisibility mostly is what I use them for. And let me tell you this quick little story about snake sheds. It is my best advice to you to never, ever, ever do snakeskin in the car. I made a snakeskin amulet so that police wouldn't see me and get pulled over. Like if I was speeding or something like that, which I don't really do, but you never know. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, oh yes, I made this amulet for my car, and it was just something that hung down. It was in a little bag. You couldn't even see the snake skins in it. The snake skins and some other things for invisibility. Okay. I almost got hit by 5 cars. Like, I wasn't in a blind spot or anything, but literally, people were driving like they couldn't see me. And I was terrifying. And the same thing happened when I got the 25 snake sheds and I brought them from the post office to home in the car. We almost got hit 3 times. So, that was a big learning experience. Nobody sees you. Not the cops, nobody. So that was very scary. Just be careful having those or things for invisibility in the car with you. That's why I feel like snake skins are so strong. Because when I brought it home from the post office, I hadn't enchanted it. I hadn't done any workings with it. It was just snakeskin. 25 big snake sheds, you know. And, yeah, it's in my post office is 10 minutes from my house. Yeah, so just be careful, and if you have an amulet with it, you know, don't wear it in the car is my best advice to you. So, should we cut up things and put them in the dehydrator now, or should we read out of the Myths book? We could do either. But I'm done showing you what I've got in my dehydrator. And Lunaya's here, and I've been meaning to wait for her to be here until I read from my Myths book, because we're going to read the Raven and the First Human, I do believe, from the Native American myths. So yeah, what do you guys want to do? Yeah? Okay. Let's read some myths. I got my room all messy. Oh. Knob of ginger. It's not done yet. See how it's squishy? It will get rock hard though. It will. Okay. Okay, story time. Isn't that pretty? So if you guys ever want any custom orders, just ask me. Because Maddie was just like, can you make me some mango roses? And I was like, heck yeah, I'd love to do that. So I had a lot of fun doing that. Lots and lots of fun. Okay, myths. I'll sit down and read you this. It'll be fun. A really good way to charge things, you guys, is by putting a big hunky stone in there. I put this out in the new moon that happened, but I also want to get a lot of anti-negativity in it, so I put this giant hunk of black tourmaline that I've got in the middle of this coconut, Vietnamese coriander, so many things in there, potpourri, blood oranges, all of that. I showed this to you guys yesterday, and we talked about, you know, putting love in there from friends with your magical spoons and all of that, and tossing it with that. Yeah. Just wanted to say about the black tourmaline, that's a great way to, any stones really, it's a great way to charge. Even if you had stone chips, you could put it throughout and take them out at the end or leave them. Did you guys enjoy reading out the chakra book yesterday? I just realized that I haven't sent you the picture on Skype, so I will be doing that after this live feed, sending you the picture of the chart that we went through yesterday. This chart. Okay, so I'm going to leave that book out. You guys did like that. The roses are lovely. Thank you, Joyce. Let's read out myths. World Myths, illustrated by Francesca di Owatavai. And you guys know what? I've really been enjoying making custom teas on the channel with you guys because we've only done it twice. We did it for our Magical Madness Tea Party, which I will be doing weekly episodes, you guys. I had literally so much fun doing that. So much fun making up that whole land of make-believe. It was great. And we have 4 plots going. And look at this. They're all over there. They're just waiting for next time. Remember, there's the Queen of the Uglies and the Uglies. There's the Just. There's Madeline and Claire and the twins, Pepper and Mint. And over there we've got the Oaf and the Cosmic Cat. Anyway, it's just all so good. But there's the Queen of the Uglies, and there's the Uglies. Oh boy. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. And thanks for guys for doing the improv with me, because that was so much fun too. It's kind of like that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? You know, they have a British version and an American version. Thousandfold! I forgot about that, Tangerine. And next time I go doll shopping, I'll have to find one that says thousand, or that screams out to me thousandfold. Okay, I'm going to show you the picture. And I got this book from my friend Nina, who sent me a big box of goodies, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life. And all of you. Donations to the channel are always very welcome. She gave me this book to cut up for my art, and I'm like, I can't! It's so awesome, because it's got Egyptian myths, it's got so many myths. Celtic, Egyptian, Viking, Greek, Mesopotamian, Roman, and Chinese, and Native American. So this is a Native American myth. It's on page 130, and it's called The Raven and the First Human Beings. Ready? The world was newly made. The raven flew over the land and the sea and admired what he had helped to create. He soared above the forests and the mountains, where deer grazed among the trees and goats scrambled over the rocks. Gliding over streams and rivers, he saw beavers at work on their dams and glimpsed the silver flash of a leaping salmon. He swooped low over the ocean and saw that it teemed with fish and shellfish of every kind. Raven flew down and landed on a narrow strip of beach. He folded his wings and looked about him with satisfaction. The sun shone and the sea sparkled. Seals and sea lions basked on the nearby rocks. Seabirds wheeled high overhead and in the distance. Far out to sea, a whale spouted. Suddenly, a raven's sharp eyes caught a slight movement by his feet. Bending down, he saw a stream of bubbles escaping from something half buried in wet sand. It was a large clamshell, and, as Raven watched, it began to very slowly open. From inside there came a faint sighing and murmuring. Like a breeze ruffling the surface of the sea, to his amazement, the raven saw a little face craning forward, peering curiously around. This is reminding me of Alice in Wonderland and the story of the little oysters. Little oysters, little oysters. Ah. From inside there came a faint sighing and murmuring. Like a breeze ruffling, the raven saw a little face craning forward, peering cautiously around. Then it caught sight of Raven, and with a startled gasp, shot back inside of its shell, which snapped shut once more. Raven hopped around the clamshell and examined it from all sides. He prodded it with his beak. The shell remained tightly closed. Raven tapped it impatiently. "Come out," he whispered. "Come out." Very gradually, the shell opened a fraction, and the little face peeped out again. This time, it was followed by another little face, and then another one, and another, until there were a whole row of faces. This is totally creeping me out, by the way. Gazing at the raven, half in fear and half in wonder, like this. I don't know. That was my face of half in fear and half in wonder. As the shell opened a little more, Raven saw that it was full of little people, the very first human beings. With Raven nodding encouragement, they slowly uncurled themselves from the depths of the clamshell and stepped out onto the sand. They stretched their arms and legs in the warm sunshine and whispered excitedly to one another as they looked around the strange new world in which they found themselves. Raven was elated by his discovery. He told the human beings that because they had been born on the shore, they belonged to both the sea and the land. Before he flew away, he taught them how to fish and how to work wood so that they could make their own livelihood. I like that. That was a great little story. So look at all those first little humans in the clamshell. And so that is the Native American myth of how the first humans began. You like that face of like scared and... Thanks, Aiden. Hey, Aiden, do you have a request for a story? Do you want to pick a section of myth and then I can read you one of the sections? So there's Mesopotamian myths, Greek myths, Egyptian myths, Roman myths, Celtic myths, Viking myths, Native American myths, and Chinese myths. If you want to pick a category... I'm making you sleepy. That's okay. It's pretty late. If you want to pick a category, Aiden, I'd love to let you pick a story from the category. Da-da-da! Look at this. It's humans feeding off of a wolf. The wolf and the twins. Oh, Celtic after. Yeah, I don't know if Aiden wants to pick. Native American myths would be your favorite. Okay, so let me read them to you, and then you can pick one from the stories. So we've got the creation of the world. We just read the raven and the first human beings. Coyote and the wolf. The acorn hats. The boy who was kept by a bear, the buffalo dance, the search for the corn sisters, the rain chant, the Pleiades, and the floating island. So Aiden, whichever one you want to pick, and then afterwards I'll read one more to Roseanne, and we'll pick a Celtic. And then we'll be done with myths for today, but we can pull out this book anytime you guys want, because it's really great, and I'd love to hear them. So, Aiden's making his choice, and then we'll read another Native American myth, and then we'll read a Celtic myth. Let me say the names of the Celtic myth really quick, so that you can kind of start deciding while Aiden's deciding too. Okay, so Celtic myths are How the Celts Came to Ireland, Tales from the Other World, The Legend of Manon, the tragedy of Calchian, the Dagda's porridge bowl, the tale of Prereader, how Cachulain got his name, the sword and the stone, and the Children of Lir. Aiden, Celtic myths would be great too. You're not gonna pick one? Okay. So if you guys want to pick a Celtic myth, that'll work. I think you should do a full live just of this book. I can do that, Pat. Yeah, for sure. We can do like 5 stories or something like that. Porridge? Alright, you got it. Porridge. The Dagda's porridge bowl, under Celtic myths, page 87. Hades and Persephone. I want to read that one. That's my choice. We're going to read that next. Hades and Persephone. Because if they talk about pomegranates in here, that'll be so cool. They do talk about the pomegranate. We're reading Hades and Persephone after the Celtic myth. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to love this. The pomegranate myth is so, so cool. Yeah, so we'll do Persephone next. So page, where were we at for the Celtic myths? Porridge bowl. Okay. The Dagda's porridge bowl. Here's the picture. I like how his foot comes onto the other page. Okay. So there's a lot of words in here I might mispronounce. So I'll apologize for that now. A lot of these Celtic words take me a minute to say, so yeah, bear with me on that. The Dagda's porridge bowl. The Dagda was one of the great chieftains of the legendary Tuatha de Danann. He was also the most important god of the Celts in Ireland. His name means the good god. But he was also known as the father of all and the lord of perfect knowledge. His possessions include a cauldron that never ran out of food, wow, and a magic pig that could be killed and eaten, then come alive again, ready to be killed and eaten the next day. He also had a magic club. Oh, a magic club. I thought he had like a magic club. Okay, he also had a magic club. One end of the club could kill 9 men with a single blow, and with the torch on the other end, he could restore them to life. So it sounds like this guy is doing quite a bit of necromancy, yeah? With his magical tools. As well as being... I just also want to say that there's necromancy in the Bible. Jesus brought things back to life. I think he brought frogs back to life. Okay. As well as being the god of wisdom, the Dagda was also the god of the earth and enjoyed earthly pleasures. Where is Jenn from? I'm here in Seattle, hun. Cherry chapstick. That's where I'm at. As well as being the god of wisdom, the Dagda was also the god of earth and enjoyed earthly pleasures. He was fond of music and played his harp to bring out the change in the seasons. He also enjoyed feasting and being in the company of beautiful women. The Dagda's enemies, the Formorans, used his knowledge to try and prevent him from fighting against them in the second battle of Mac Turith. During a truce in the battle, the Formians found Dagda resting and began mocking him over his great appetite. They challenged him to eat a meal of porridge, his favorite food, which they would cook for him. The Dagda accepted the challenge, and the preparations started. As the Formians did not have a big enough cooking pot, They dug a hole in the ground and poured into it 80 cauldrons full of fresh milk, 80 cauldrons of oats, and 80 cauldrons of fat. To this, they added whole sheep, pigs, and goats. The porridge was then boiled, and when it was ready, the Formians gave the Dagda an enormous spoon and told him to eat every scrap or be killed. To their amazement, the Dagda did just this, and to make sure nothing was left behind, he used his finger to scrape the last drops out of the hole. After such a big meal, the Formians expected the Dagda to fall asleep and miss the rest of the battle, but instead he stayed wide awake. Then the Formians remembered his love of beautiful women. They brought him a lovely young woman and left her in his company. They thought this would exhaust him, but once more they were wrong. The Dagda was soon revitalized and ready to return to battle. The young woman was so pleased with him that she took his side and helped him to defeat the Formians. Hi, Sea Willow! We were just reading the Dagda's Porridge Bowl out of our World Myths book. And this, Christabellen! Yeah, we're about to read one of my very favorite stories. We're about to read about Persephone. So that was the Dagda and the Porridge Bowl. And now we're going to read about Hades and Persephone. And for those of you who like pomegranates and magic, you're going to hear some pretty interesting stuff. And how did I learn about Hades and Persephone? Well, of course, from a television show called Harlots. And if you guys haven't seen Harlots on Hulu, oh my gosh, you must. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. It's a period piece. It's British. It's about harlots. I mean, who wouldn't like it, right? Okay, so Hades and Persephone. Hades was the god of the underworld. He was very rich, but very lonely because nobody wanted to live in his dark and gloomy kingdom. Sometimes he visited the earth just to look at the people there. On one of his visits, he saw Persephone gathering flowers in a field and fell in love with her. She was the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of plants and harvests. The two of them were very close, and Persephone often helped Demeter in her work. Realizing that Demeter would never give him permission to marry Persephone, Hades decided to abduct her. He grabbed her by her hair and pushed her into the chariot, and then raced back to the underworld with her. Not knowing where her daughter had gone, Demeter neglected the earth and set out to look for her daughter. The flowers withered and the leaves fell from the trees. The crops stopped growing and the people started to go hungry. Then, when she found out what had happened to Persephone, Demeter asked Zeus to help her. He told her that Persephone could return to Earth, providing she had not eaten anything while she was in the underworld. Okay, Pan's Labyrinth. Totally Pan's Labyrinth. Right from the 46 and Tool video. Remember she went down there to get those magical keys? And the fairies were with her to tell her, like, don't eat anything. And then she plucked one grape and the Pale Man came alive. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Eyeballs in the hands, Pale Man, Tool video, 46 and 2. They're way too far down there. I made a pair of Pale Man hands out of chicken's feet and clay. Hey, Otis! Come say hi, bud. Come say hi. Tangerine's here. She wants to sing a song to you. Come here. Hi, buddy. Oh, you're cold. You were outside. Tangerine and Otis sitting in a tree. P-U-R-R-I-N-G. Say hi, babe. Give a kiss. Okay. Bye-bye. Otis Tangerine says hi. Great idea with the clay, right? I put the clay eyeball in the chicken's foot. Okay, let's get back to the story. Sorry, I just had to say that the rules of the rules of not eating anything while she was there, just completely remind me of Pan's Labyrinth. And that movie is so magical. It's got so much truth of magic in it. Or what I've learned from books is like directly replicated in that movie. It's so cool. Okay, so the crop stopped growing. Then when she found out what had happened, Zeus told her, Persephone could not return to Earth he told her that Persephone could return to Earth, provided she had not eaten anything while she was in the underworld. And he sent Hermes, the messenger, to command Hades to set her free. Meanwhile, Persephone had been refusing to eat, but when Hades offered her 12 juicy seeds from a pomegranate, she found she was too hungry to resist. When Hermes arrived, she had already eaten 6 of them. Hades said that meant she would have to stay with him forever, but Zeus intervened. He said that because Persephone had only eaten 6 seeds, she had only spent 6 months of every year in the underworld. For the other 6 months, she could return to Earth and be with her mother. Oh my gosh, I'm just loving this myth. Demeter agreed, and while Persephone was with her, she tended the plants and made them grow. When her daughter had to go back to the underworld, however, Demeter let all the plants wither and die, and did not tend to them until Persephone came back to her. So I think this story is telling us about why we have seasons, and why we can grow things during the summer, and why things are kind of dormant during the winter. It doesn't say the moral or whatever, but I would be up for reading. Yeah, right? I would be up for reading one more if you guys want to pick a section. And the sections are Mesopotamian myths, Greek myths, Egyptian myths, Roman myths, Celtic myths, Viking myths, Native American myths, and Chinese myths. So I will be up for reading one more, and then I need to eat my dinner and get back to my family. And I'll probably be popping on live later on tonight. Because I want to be with you guys. Egyptian. You got it, Pat. Egyptian. So out of the Egyptian myths, here's what we've got. The creation, Osiris and Seth, Amun-Ra's nightly journey, the battle for kingship, Thoth brings Hathor back, the boating party, the magician, the shipwrecked sailor's tale, how the blessed lived. Osiris? Well, wait, Mello, we're letting Pat pick. If she picks Osiris, then that's what we'll do. Flash forward 1,000,000 billion years, Persephone is driving Hades nuts and redecorated 1,000,000 times. And is addicted to pomegranates, and that's all she wants to eat, but he can never find them. Oh my goodness. Amun-Ra. Okay, I'll see if I can do Amun-Ra and Osiris, because Nello wants Osiris. So I'll do Amun-Ra, and then we'll try and do Osiris. Okay. Amun-Ra's nightly journey. Okay. Amun-Ra's nightly journey. Beautiful imagery. Okay. Ready? Ready, Franny? Okay. Amun-Ra's nightly journey. Every day, the creator and sun god, Amun-Ra, spent 12 hours journeying across the sky in his solar boat. At night, taking the form of the ram-headed god, he descended into the dark, hot, windless depths of the underworld in order to defeat the forces of chaos that were always threatening Egypt's stability. I really do like this story. I love this story. What's up, Marge? Are you okay? Oh, the name of the book is World Myths. Oh, Marge! I see. Cool. Let's just not say the S word and we'll be good. Everybody that doesn't have Marge Richards' channel, please help her out and go give her a hug, okay? And ring her bell. Hug her and ring her bell. But yeah, I guess we're not supposed to say the S word. Nobody did, don't worry. Back to Amun-Ra's nightly journey. Every night his solar boat was... Oh, wait. Okay, so... At night, taking the form of the ram-headed god, he descended into the dark, hot, windless depths of the underworld in order to defeat the forces of chaos that were always threatening Egypt's stability. Every night, his solar boat was towed through 12 different regions, and in each one a demon awaited to challenge his authority. As the sun god approached each region, his light blazed forth, awakening his enemies from their silent sleep. Cobras that spat fire, and snakes with wings and many heads were aroused during the 12 hours it took Amun-Ra to travel across his deadly western realm to rise again once more in the east. The fire crest of all the monsters that attempted to destroy Amun-Ra was the snake Apophis. This wicked creature had no soul and was condemned to a life of chaos and evil. As the solar boat approached Aphesis, goddess leapt forward and slashed the snake with knives, leaving Aphesis slithering and withering in pain on the ground as the boat passed him by. All the evildoers who were the enemies of Amun-Ra were destroyed. They were shown no mercy. Bound and decapitated, they were thrown into the pits of fire where their souls were burnt. At the 12th hour, Amun-Ra reached his eastern destination, taking the form of Keferi, the scarab beetle who emerged daily out of his ball of dung. He was reborn as the sun, signaling the safe arrival for a new day. Amun-Ra underwent his perilous journey through the underworld every night. By completing the journey, he showed he had triumphed over the dark forces that constantly threatened Egypt's existence. So half of his day was spent in the underworld trying to keep, preventatives, keep that away from Egypt. I think that that's a cool story. I enjoyed that. It didn't talk a lot about his journeys besides this, snake, but I really enjoyed it. So there's Ra in his solar boat. Nello, that's interesting. No, Marge, I know. We're all good. Nobody's in trouble. Okay. Now we're going to read Osiris and Seth, which is the story that is right before it. And here is the imagery. Alright. This is a sad story, you guys, in my opinion. You're still listening, but... Oh yeah, no problem, hun. Yeah, of course. Alright. A horse is a horse, of course. Mr. Ed. Alright, Osiris and Seth. As the Pharaoh of Egypt, Osiris ruled his country with wisdom and kindness. Osiris hated violence, and he chose to civilize the Egyptians in a gentle manner. He showed them how to grow crops so that they could feed themselves. He taught them the law so that they could learn good and just behavior. Finally, he instructed them on how to worship the gods to ensure that Egypt prospered. Things went well in Egypt until Seth, Osiris's wicked brother, who was deeply jealous of him, schemed to oust Osiris from the Egyptian throne. Seth held a lavish banquet and invited Osiris and all the gods and goddesses. During the event, Seth presented a magnificent wooden and gold chest to his guests and invited them to lie inside. so like a coffin, invited them to lie inside, promising that he would give it to the one who fit it the best. But Seth had slyly built the chest to fit only Osiris's exact measurements. When Osiris was persuaded to climb into the chest, Seth quickly slammed down the lid, sealed it, and threw it into the Nile, where it drifted out to sea. The beautiful, gilded chest became Osiris's coffin. When Isis heard of what happened, she searched far and wide for her beloved husband. After many months, she found his coffin in the palace at Byblos, Byblos, Byblos. Returning home with her gentle Osiris, Isis had the coffin in the marshes in Lower Egypt. But one night, while she lay asleep, Seth discovered the coffin. When he saw Osiris's body inside, he became red with anger. In a violent rage, he tore the body into 14 pieces and scattered them throughout Egypt. Seth now believed that at last he was the only contender for the throne. Then Isis learnt of Seth's savage behavior, and with the patience of great love, she began another long search, this time to gather all the pieces of Osiris's body. I wonder if they're going to put the full story in here. For you, those of you who know the full story, I don't know, we'll see. Each time she found a piece, she built a shrine to honor her dead husband, tricking Seth into believing that she was burying his body. When Isis had collected all the pieces together, she used her powerful magic to bring Osiris back to life one night. During the night, they conceived their son Horus. Okay, what they're not telling you in this book is that she found every single part of him except his penis. And I can't remember the exact bits, but I believe she made one and she got pregnant from it. Okay. During the night hours, they conceived their son Horus. See, they're skipping out parts. There was one part of his body they didn't find. So if you guys are interested in the full story, make sure to read the full story. It gets really interesting. Now that Egypt had a legitimate heir to their throne, Osiris descended to the underworld to rule as king of the dead. He showed the Egyptian people that, like him, they could have eternal life, and that their spirits, like his own, would live again after death. Yeah, so the full story of that is quite interesting. They skipped a big part right there. They just went to her getting pregnant, but there was this whole story in between, and I suggest that you guys look into that if you were entertained by that story. Right, people say that's where, I don't want to say that word out loud on my channel, but yes, that's where people say those came from. Right, artificial male parts. Oh no, I know you're not trying to be funny at all. We're all being serious here, like, you know. No! What? Don't be sorry. I'm just saying I don't want to say that word out loud. That's all. You can say... I'm not mad, Christabel, and I'm glad that you said that. Were Isis and his brother... Isis and Osiris... Yeah. I believe that they... No, because Egyptians didn't marry cousins. They married brothers and sisters. Yes. So that's interesting because... they must have all been brother and sister, right? And Isis decided to marry one brother over the other. Yeah, no, and so the royals of England, they marry cousins, and the royals of Egypt, at least in our myths, they marry brother and sister. That's right. And I do believe Anubius married his sister. And there's a lot of brother and sister marriage in the Egyptians. That's right. So that makes it hard to tell, like, who's part of what family and what, you know, because obviously inbreeding gets a little bit confusing. But do you guys know why they did that? Do you guys know why the royals do that? Why they marry sisters and brothers and cousins? There's definitely a reason why they do that. Because we know that when we mate like that, half the time the babies come out mentally challenged or deformed, or so Christabel, and to keep the bloodlines pure. Kind of, it's more about money. It's more about keeping money in the family. At least with the British royals, I do know that. I love Isis. She is a great... yeah, Isis is one of the goddesses that I honor and give offerings to, and I have a small altar for her. I've praised her before. Yeah, all the incest to keep the blood pure. Blood pure and more and money. At least with the British royals, money in the family, not leaving the bloodline, right? Yes, and a lot of them had deformities that you can see in paintings. Oh, tangerine! I didn't know that. Yeah. Yep, pure bloodline and keeping money in the family. I could do one more if you guys want. Let me say the categories again. Mesopotamian myths, Greek myths, Egyptian myths, Roman myths, Viking myths, Celtic myths, Native American myths, and Chinese myths. Do you want to pick? I mean, anybody can pick one. So say a category, and then I'll read. Mesa? Okay, great. So Tangerine picks a Mesopotamian myth. So here they are. Marduk and the Babylonian creation myth. Gilgamesh and the secret of eternal life. I think we may have read that one, actually. Utopianism survives the Great Flood. The marriage of Ishtar and Tammuz. Ishtar and the underworld. Nergal and Erikanishagal. The Epic of Ira. Etana and the Eagle, or Marduk and Nabu. What's up? Did you get a henbane?
No, this is a purple passion fruit.
Oh, show it.
Well, it's not much right now. It's just start, but I finally got one. You can see that inside.
Nice. Those are beautiful. Are you sure it's not a passion flower?
I got it from our fruit.
Oh,
We ate.
nice.
Hey, look, I got a passion fruit.
Night Shadow. Oh, Luna, yeah, said Native American Baron Boy. Gilgamesh again. What did Tangerine pick? It's Tangerine's pick. Tangerine, what do you pick? Yeah, we did read Gilgamesh the other day, so that's out. Eagle, you got it. Ah. Etana and the Eagle. I opened right to it. That's hilarious. Etana and the Eagle. That's a beautiful picture. Riding an eagle. That's how you pronounce it. I mean, that's how it's written. Etana? 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 Okay. Ready? When the city of Kish was still very young, the god Enlil and Ishtar decided to find it a king. They chose their wise shepherd, Etana. For many years, Etana ruled well, but he grew old. And as he grew old, he worried that he did not have a son to be the king of Kish after him. Etana prayed to Shamash, the sun god and the god of justice, asking for a son. Shamash replied, "Take to the road and reach the mountain and ask an eagle to bring you the herb of birth from the house of Anu." After a long journey, Etana reached the mountain and found a giant eagle lying in a ditch with wings broken. Unknown to Etana, the eagle had been cursed by Shamash for eating the children of a serpent that belonged to the sun god. Etana asked the eagle to help him find the herb of birth. The eagle replied that he would take Etana to the herb if Etana would bring him food and keep him strong while his wings healed. After Etana had brought food to the eagle for several months, the eagle recovered his strength and was able to fly again. Etana climbed to the eagle's back and they soared. This is reminding me of Neverending Story when he rides on Valkor's back. It's really cool. Etana climbed onto the eagle's back and they soared up into the sky toward the home of Anu. But as the eagle flew higher, Etana grew frightened and cried out, "My friend, I can climb no higher, stop!" And so the eagle returned him to the ground. For several nights, Etana dreamed about flying high into the sky and having a son. and finally he decided to try again. This time he was not afraid of the eagle ascended from the heavens, and together they succeeded in fighting the precious herb of birth that would give Etana a son to their kingdom. Etana returned to his city, and soon afterward he had a son named Balith, who became the king of Kish after Etana died. Tess is here! Tess, this is what you made me, right? You made me this bookmark? Okay, if I get a good enough community, I'll make videos about Caribbean shamanism. That would be awesome! Nello, you should. And if you start your channel, just let me know, and I'll definitely shout you out here and let people know that you've started a channel. Whispers of Three, hi! Welcome! I'm glad that you're here. So I will read one more, but I'm going to read it to who requested it before. So, well, hold on a minute. I gotta find, something. Native American Baron Boy. Okay. Wait, Tess said Celtic. Lunaria, we did one for you. So, Tess, do you want to pick a Celtic myth? I'm going to read them to you, okay? Okay, so Tess, the Celtics are these. How the Celts came to Ireland. Tales from the Other World. The Legend of Mauen. The Tragedy of Calcún, or Catchulain. We already read the Dagda's Porridge Bowl. The Tale of Peredur. How Catchulain got his name. The Sword in the Stone, and the Children of Lir. So, Tess, whatever Celtic one you want to hear, go ahead. Yes, hi, Whispers of Three. Did you have a choice, Miss Tess? I love you and I miss you, and I hope that Oliver is doing okay. I think about him every day. So many times a day. All the Children of Lir. Okay, you bet. Lir. It's spelled L-I-R in here. Is that pronounced Lair or Lear? I don't even know. You're welcome. So let's go to the Celtic myths. Here we are. Oh, this picture is so good. I like it. Because the look on her face is really troubling. And what's he up to, you know? Like, he looks like he's up to no good. And she's scared. Hey Jen, sorry I wasn't on the last live for long. I went to the sand dunes. Oh, seriously? That's so cool, Jenna, because we were just talking about that. What you can forage on the sand dunes. Okay, so the Children of Lir, L-I-R. Lir was a chieftain of the Tehuth de Daan who lived at... all these words are hard to pronounce. Who lived at Finglas in the north of Ireland. When his wife died, his ruler, Bovdarg, invited Lir to his court and suggested he marry one of his 3 foster daughters. Lir agreed and chose Eve, the eldest of the 3. They went back to Finglas, where after a year of marriage, Eve gave birth to twins. Finola and Ida, a girl and a boy. A year later, Eve gave birth to twin sons, Ficra and Con, but she died in childbirth. Lir was heartbroken, and only the love for his 4 children kept him alive. Then Bovdirg invited Lir again and suggested that he marry Eve's sister, Eowulf. Lir agreed, and at first things went well. Eowulf loved the children, and they loved her. But gradually, she came to think that Lir loved his children more than he loved her. Seriously? Like, Do some people just not get it? One day, Eof took the children to visit Bavdirk. 3 times on the journey, Eof stopped her chariot and told her servants to kill the children, but they refused. This is sounding pretty Hansel and Gretel to me. On the shores of Lor Devera, she stopped again and told the children to go and bathe in the lake. As they did so, she cast a spell, turning them into swans, but leaving them in their human voices. When Finola asked how long the spell would last, Eof realized that what a terrible thing she had done. The children would spend 300 years on Laudarif, 300 years in the wild sea of Moidal, then 300 years on the lonely Inish Glara before regaining their human bodies, when the sound of a bell would start to change Ireland. The children bore their punishment bravely. For the first 300 years, they invited many visitors who brought them news of their friends and family and listened to their sweet singing. On the Sea of Moidal, the visitors were fewer, and on Inishgal, they saw none at all. Finally, the day came for the spell to end, and in the shape of the swans, they flew back to their home. As they landed, a Christian monk rang a bell, inviting people to join the new Christian religion and pray. As Eof promised, this broke the spell. But when Lir's children changed back to their human forms, they were no longer young. Instead, they were more than 900 years old, and everything they had known and loved when they were still human before was gone. All that remained was their love for each other. Oh. And as the saint blessed them, they linked arms and died. Oh my gosh. That was really sad. That was really sad. What a nasty trick. What a nasty stepmom. Beautiful? So there we are. Yep. There's all the schwans. I know, right, Nello? Jeez. So, Nello, what story did you want me to read? I'll do one more, and then I really do gotta eat and go. Nello, what category did you ask for before? I'm trying to find it right now. But I'm not gonna do Gilgamesh again. It's gotta be one that I haven't done. Nello, you said Viking. Let me read you the Viking stories, okay? And then go back down. Viking, yeah, okay. So let's go to Viking. This is the last one. And if you have any requests, you can put them in the comments if you're watching after the live or if you want to go back into it. So, Viking. The birth of the world, Heimdall and the human society, Thor and Gormungand, Freya and the dwarfs, Agar's feast, the Vaclarites, the Vanir gods, Odin steals the meat of poetry, and the twilight of the gods. Not that I know of, Nello. I just read you all the Viking myths. It doesn't seem like there's an Adam and Eve one in there, but I'm not sure because I haven't read them all. I'm trying to read them all. Freya? Yeah, you bet. Freya and the dwarfs. Okay, there we are. It's Freya and the dwarfs. I'm supposing that this is Freya. Look at them dwarfs. They're spooky. They look like goblins. Okay. Freya and the dwarfs. Freya was the Viking goddess of love and beauty. She had been married to Odin, and when he left her and disappeared without a trace, she wept tears of gold. She was very beautiful, however, and both men and gods wanted to marry her. Wow, that's insane. She granted her favors to many and brought good harvest and healthy babies into to the Viking farmers and their wives. Some of the dwarfs and giants also wanted to marry her, but Freya thought they were not worthy of her attention. As well as being beautiful herself, Freya liked beautiful objects, especially jewelry, and this sometimes led her into trouble. Her worst problems came when she wanted a wonderful gold necklace called Bringisgamen. It had been made by the dwarfs, who were skilled metal workers but were also very cunning. She tried to buy it from them, but the price they asked was that she must spend a night with each of the 4 of them in return. Freya wanted Bringisman's gold bracelet so much that she agreed to do this. When the mischievous Loki found out, he told Odin, who commanded him to take the Bringisman from Freya as punishment for what she had done. So she cheats on Odin with some dwarves, 4 of them, to get this beautiful gold thing, and then Odin Odin punishes her for what she has done for cheating with dwarves. Knowing that Freya liked Bringisman so much that she even wore it when she was asleep, Loki changed himself into a fly and flew into her bedchamber. He then changed into a flea and bit her on the cheek. This made her turn over in her sleep, and Loki was able to unfasten the clasp which held the Bringisman and steal the necklace from around her neck without waking her. When Freya realized Bringisman was missing, she guessed Odin was involved and went to him to demand its return. He agreed to give it back to her, but in return she had to cause wars between kings on Earth. She also had to become a goddess of death, choosing half of the bravest warriors as she flew over the battlefields in her chariot, which was pulled by 2 cats. Now, Odin rode in a chariot too. Remember when Yule was here and we told the stories of Odin? Santa in his sleigh, Odin and his 8 horses. Come on, you guys! It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I didn't know that Freya had a chariot in the sky that was pulled by 2 cats. I didn't know that, but I don't know a ton about Celtic myths. But now I know too. I know the Dagda's porridge bowl, and I know Freya. I do. And also Gilgamesh and the Children of Lir. So we're getting through this, and I really, really, really super had a fun time with you guys. Thank you for joining me. And if you guys are watching this later and you have any requests out of this book, just join my next live and pop on and say, hey Jen, can you read this? Wow, Freya and her 2 cats. I'm in a cat-drawn sleigh into it. Yeah. Super interesting. Yeah, you're welcome, you guys. I had super fun talking to you guys. I'm going to go kick it with my family. So, love you much. And I may be coming on live later, which will be morning time for the UK and super late at night for the US. So, we'll see. But make sure you've rung my bell, and you'll get notifications. And if you want to find me on Skype, I'm Jenn the Taxidermy Witch. And that's the only way I communicate besides YouTube, really, and Etsy. So, have a beautiful evening, you guys, and find me on Skype if you want to talk privately outside of messages, or we could even do a face-to-face face chat sometime. So, see you guys, and I had a lovely time.